Imagine waking up 500 years from now. You aren't in a starship, you are in a biological archive, and your morning routine involves syncing your consciousness with a planetary weather grid. The year is 2526. We are not talking about flying cars or shiny chrome cities. We are talking about the end of the industrial era and the beginning of the post biological age. Let's look at the math. If human progress follows the law of accelerating returns, technological change in the next 5 centuries won't be linear, it will be exponential. By 2526, the distinction between hardware and biology will have completely vanished. Your body is no longer a fixed object, it is a modular platform. In 2526, you don't have surgery, you have software updates. Nanobots, smaller than a blood cell, patrol your bloodstream 24/7. They repair cellular degradation, neutralize pathogens before you feel a sniffle, and optimize your neurochemistry to match your desired mood. Aging is not a biological certainty, it is a technical bug that was patched out in the late 23rd century. But what do you actually do with your time? In 2526, the concept of a job is a historical curiosity, studied alongside the Bronze Age or the feudal system. The transition started in the 2030s with AI and finished in the 2200s with the total automation of physical labor. By 2526, the global economy isn't based on scarcity or gold, it is based on energy and compute power. You spend your day in what we would call the metasphere. Think of it as a layer of reality overlaid on the physical world. If you want to build a house, you don't lay bricks, you program the local swarm. Millions of smart matter units rearrange themselves into your desired architecture in seconds. You are essentially a creator god of your own localized reality. But there is a catch. The planetary population is vastly different. By 2526, Earth is managed as a delicate garden. To maintain ecological stability, the human population on the surface is likely stabilized at around 500 million people. The rest of the trillion-plus human-descended intelligences live in orbital ring worlds or server clusters near the sun to harvest direct solar energy. You might be thinking, if I have everything, what is the point? This is the central tension of 2526. With the removal of struggle, humanity faces the crisis of meaning. Without the need to eat, earn, or defend ourselves, the value of experience becomes our only currency. Art is not just music or painting anymore. It is the sculpting of subjective experience. You can spend a decade of your lifespan inside a simulated reality where you are a merchant in the 14th century or a colonist on a distant moon, all while your physical body sits in a sensory pod. Communication has also evolved. Language is slow. It requires encoding thought into sound, then decoding it back into thought. In 2526, we use direct neural interface. You don't speak to your friends, you share the raw sensory data of your experiences. You don't tell someone you saw a beautiful sunset, you transmit the exact emotional and visual resonance of that sunset directly into their consciousness. Arguments are impossible because you can literally feel the other person's perspective. However, the threat landscape has shifted. We aren't worried about nuclear war or climate collapse. Those are solved problems. The existential threats of 2526 are data corruption, consciousness fragmentation, and reality drift. If you spend too much time in synthetic simulations, you lose the ability to anchor your identity in physical reality. Think about the year 1526. That was the era of the late Renaissance. Magellan had just circumnavigated the globe. If you told a person then about the internet, airplanes, or antibiotics, they would have called it sorcery. Now, jump 500 years forward to 2526. The shift will be just as violent. We are currently the ancestors of a species that will likely become planetary or even solar system scale superintelligences. We are the transition generation. We are the ones currently building the foundations of the code that will define the experience of every human being for the next millennium. So, what does your life look like? It looks like a canvas. You are no longer a victim of your biology, your environment, or your circumstances. You are a self-governing entity in a reality where the only limitations are the ones you choose to impose upon yourself. But there is a lingering question. If we solve every problem, if we remove every obstacle, and if we make death a choice rather than an event, do we stop being human? Does the friction of hardship define our soul, or does it hold us back from our true potential? Perhaps in 2526, the ultimate luxury won't be infinite power or eternal life. It might be the ability to turn it all off, to step away from the simulation, and to experience the simple, fragile, limited feeling of being a biological animal in a wild, unmanaged world. Because when you can become anything, the hardest thing to be is yourself. As we push toward this future, look at your hands, look at the device you are holding, look at the architecture of the city around you. You are looking at the crude, early blueprints of a future that is currently being rendered in real time. In the year 2526, you will be a legend. You will be the mythic ancestor who lived during the Great Transition. The question is not what that world will look like. The question is whether we are currently building a world worth living in for eternity. The countdown to 2526 has already begun. Are you satisfied with the progress?